How would the early arcs of JJK have played out if Gege had kept Yuta Okkotsu as the main character? I'm not saying that Yuta is Sukuna's vessel in this situation, I'm just saying what if Yuta had been there instead of Yuji? Mainly, I'm going to be focusing on two arcs, the Verse Mahito arc and the Shibuya arc. To start, we're going to do the Verse Mahito arc, and in my opinion, this isn't even an arc if Yuta's in that situation instead of Yuji. This is like 3 chapters. So for those 3 chapters, this is ultimately how I think it would play out. The first chapter, Mahito and Yuta meet, and they just kind of yap for a little bit. The second chapter, they start fighting, they're filling each other out a little bit. And the third chapter, Yuta understands it now, and Mahito gets wiped off the face of this earth into the cursed realm. And before the 4 Mahito stands that are on the internet come for me, Mahito was made to be the perfect enemy for Yuji. It is his exact opposite in a way. And Yuta no diffs Mahito, especially at this point in the story. Now things get a little interesting because we're going to go to the Shibuya arc. And this would still be a great arc, but half of the things that went wrong in this arc would not happen if Yuta is there. And really quick, I gotta tell you guys, I recorded that first half of the video already, and then I went looking for an image that I have of Yuta being at the Shibuya arc with like Maharaga behind him instead of Rika, and I could not find it for the life of me, so I really quick went and made this image, but that's not what really went wrong here. When I went back to TikTok to start recording, the app crashed and it did not save any of my video progress, so I had to re-record that whole first part. Now that that little yap is over, let's get to it. So the main things that change in this arc, Gojo does not get sealed, and Mahito is not there. And if we're being real, Hanami probably wouldn't be there either because in the Kyoto exchange event, Yuta and Todo would have completely erased bro. That's really sad because we wouldn't have got to see Pharaoh Gojo. Ultimately, Gege would have had to completely rewrite the Shibuya arc if Yuta's here, because Mahito's not there, and if Gojo's not getting sealed, he needs to have something dramatic and climactic to happen. So I'm just going to make something up here that I think would have been insanely crazy to see at this point in the story. So for the sake of the story, we're going to say Yuji is still a character, but he's kind of in the Yuta position. He got pushed to a side character. He is in Shibuya, and Sukuna still resides inside of him. We're going to say Jogo still force feeds Itadori the fingers, and Sukuna awakens in Shibuya. When Sukuna awakens, he runs into Yuta first, but his goal is still to find Megami, so he starts running off and Yuta begins chasing. To preface a little bit, we're going to say that Yuta was rolling with Gojo earlier on, and when Kenjaku pulled up with the prison realm, they were both shocked to see him, but Yuta's able to talk some sense into Gojo, so he doesn't end up getting sealed, and we're just going to take the prison realm out of the equation at this point. I know that's not how it works, so don't come for me, but we're just getting the prison realm out of the way because Gojo's not getting sealed. Back to where I was, Yuta follows Sukuna and they both end up catching up with Megami, and then we have Yuta and Megami versus Sukuna, which is like a 15-finger Sukuna at this point, I believe. Now they've got their hands full with that battle, and obviously they're not trying to off Itadori, so I think they're trying to outlast Sukuna, and Sukuna's just kind of toying with them, seeing what they can do. Eventually, Itadori's able to regain control of his body, whether he was fighting internally, or Sukuna just realized this is not the time to do what he wants to do. All is well over there because Yuta and Megami were able to outlast Sukuna and keep Itadori alive. Now here's the most climactic part of this whole entire arc. We get a fight between Gojo and Kenjaku in Geto's body. Would this have happened right here if Gege was writing it? 100% no, because this feels more like an endgame battle. It kind of feels more like Kakashi and Obito, but we're going to put it right here just for shits and giggles. So we finally get a fight that a lot of fans in this series wanted to see. We get something that's so emotional, sentimental, and it's just a cinematic masterpiece. And after a sad, drawn-out battle, I'm going to say Gojo does not end Kenjaku here. Kenjaku decides to withdraw and end the Shibuya incident. Now, obviously, that is awful writing. It's probably on par with Jujutsu no Kaisen's writing. That was just me making some shit up as I went along. But please cut me a little bit of slack for the awful writing there because I never read off a script. All of these videos are straight off the dome. And if I'm being honest with you, that video was supposed to be like 2 minutes and none of the ending stuff was supposed to be there. But after the app crashed and my video got deleted, I got a little fired up, so I got to yapping. Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments. I'm ready to see a lot of hate mail down there. And let me know how you think it would have went if Yuta would have been in Yuji's position earlier on in the series. Peace.